Here we go. We got it. Let's hope it's
Woohoo!
recording. But I tell you what, learning all this new technology nowadays, your brain doesn't work like it did when you were in your 20s.
Yeah.
So, hello everybody. Welcome. Hoping everybody's having a wonderful Friday and had a good week. I'm trying to do spring cleaning. You can't really see it because it's all on this side. Thank God. But I also been helping the front move as well, so it slowed me down. And we have with us Mr. Mike. You like to be called Mike or Michael?
Yeah, they're both fine.
Okay, so we have Michael Overlie here with us, and he's gonna introduce himself and what he does and how he takes his skills, coaching skills, and use it to help others. And Mike, I want you to also teach us something. Yes, I
Okay.
know I'm a coach, but every day we are in a school of life or a life school, and we learn something new every single day. And I want you to teach me and all those around us what we can do to make a difference in our own lives and use that to help other people as well. Because we want to be able to improve our lives, make changes. I remember back in the old days, when you worked for a company and they say, okay, we're going to make a change. And everybody's like, oh, I don't want to change. I don't like change. Nobody likes change. But I tell you what, when you change your mindset, you now look at change as a different thing. You look at change as an opportunity, an improvement, and to doing something to better your life or to better your job or to better yourself at church. It's something for an improvement. So, what good positive change can you give us so that we can move forward in our life?
How
I'm
many
going to
days do
mute
we have?
myself. I am going to mute myself, okay? Because I want you to speak and I will try my ultimate best not to interrupt.
All right.
Okay, the floor is yours, Michael. Welcome,
Awesome.
everybody, to Unplug Grief Ministries. We're glad you're here. And our wonderful guest, Mike Overlie, is going to he's going to be our teacher today. Going to teach us wonderful things. The floor is yours. I muted myself, Mike, so if I, if I try to say something, remind me to unmute myself.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Dee. Thank you, and anybody tuning in. Thank you for your time and your energy to come here and be here with us because this is how we do better. This is how we grow through whatever's going on. This is how we heal. So yeah, I'm a coach. I do a couple of different things. I've got two separate coaching practices, and I just like making it interesting and challenging for myself. So one side, I'm a canine partnered men's coach, and I work with guys who are struggling in maybe one area, maybe many areas of their lives, but they've got this incredible bond with their dog, right? That's the best relationship they've got in their life. And then I've also got another practice where I'm a conscious executive coach, and I work with businesses, mostly those who are out there really trying to save the world in some fashion, right? Renewable energy, B corporations, small giants, those kinds of companies. And I work exclusively with the executives in the company because I think all the major change has to start there. So it's quite fantastic, and I'm very fortunate, and I've had so many opening experiences in my life through grief that allowed me to see things that I would not have been able to see before. And so that's kind of what I wanted to talk today about. Um, yeah, it's quite fantastic. We run so much from our discomforts and from pain and change, as Dee said. We don't want change, but change is all there really is. Things are always changing. We hold on so tight to the fact that we don't want it to. We can't grow without change. And sometimes these experiences are very painful and very difficult, but there's actually a gift in those. Oh, let me explain this. When I was 11 or 12, I can't remember, right in there somewhere. My my parents split, and I was, this real insecure kid, and somehow I got it into my mind that it was my fault that my dad left, right? So this was my first really big experience with being able to grieve or process grief, and I didn't do it very well. I became suicidal. Um, Luckily, I'm still here, but that was this really big defining moment. We have lots of little moments. So forward to years later, excuse me, I had my own divorce, right? More, more, woohoo, more thing, big life event to grieve around. And then my brother died about 6 years ago, and this one tore me up. I guess I was just ready, and I actually allowed myself to grieve. So what came from that was not just my my pain over losing him. He was my hero, but it was all these other things that I never allowed myself to fully feel. I kept all these things hidden and buried for so long, things I didn't even remember. Well, they started coming up. They started coming out with this experience. And I realized I didn't like how I was showing up in the world. I didn't like who I was. And I was like, wow, I really thought I was a pretty decent guy. And I saw some things I really didn't like. So this was the greatest gift that was ever given to me, right? Through this pain was shown me something else. And this was a gift. And I'm working so hard on emulating my brother and being this like really um, hopeful and loving and compassionate guy. And that's what I help all these other men with now. So grief is hard and nobody does it the same, right? No two people grieve the same. So understand that this is yours and it's for a purpose. It's not a punishment, right? That's the biggest, biggest lesson I can give you in this. We're not truly punished here, even though it feels like it. Everything is an opportunity to learn, an opportunity to grow. Maybe it's an opportunity for us to express ourselves fully and allow ourselves to grieve, allow all this pain to come, because otherwise it's stuck and we're stifled and we don't know why our life is happening to us, right? Why does this keep happening to me? I used to say that all the time. And now I know that life is actually happening for me. I still fumble. I still bumble. I screw up. I make mistakes. Um, I upset people. I upset myself. But I'm doing better at becoming who I know I really am and who I am at my core, not who my folks told me I was, or even who my brother told me I was, or society, or my bosses. Um, it's something else. And if you're able to allow yourself to see just a little bit of this and maybe feel just a little more of what's going on, and then find out what's underneath it. There's always something underneath. I've been able to bring up memories from when I was a small boy, young kid, 2, 3, 4 years old, and the things that really affected me then that I didn't remember, I wasn't able to access. So all of this is a gift. This whole life is a gift, no matter how painful it is. If we didn't have the pain, if we weren't able to experience that, we wouldn't truly know what the highs and the joy is about. I don't know if that makes sense. There's a thing called the law of opposites. You have dark, you have light. You wouldn't know what light was if you didn't know what dark was. Hot, cold, right? Soft, hard. So maybe look at that in a different way for yourself. What are the things that are just so painful, the things that you don't want to deal with? There's something there for you, right? There's something there. There's something underneath it that needs to be healed and released. That's the big message that I've got today.
I find that so true that it's how you explain the pain from our grief, and yet how we use that pain to, to that does make the change in our life. We do bring a change when we go. I mean, like for you to lose a sibling is one of the hardest things. It's like is it is like losing a child. Because when your sibling is like your best friend and you grew up doing things together, and then bammo, suddenly they're no longer there, it makes it difficult. But yet you somehow took that and made a change for yourself.
Yeah.
Did you find that when you lost your brother and that pain that you were going through? I can't imagine what the pain your parents were going through. Well, I don't even know if you have other siblings, but did you find that change in them as well?
With my mom, yes. With my dad, not so much. He's not able to show up for himself in that way, um, which is really too bad. He showed a little bit of discomfort, um, but that was about it because he's a tough guy and he won't allow people to see him hurt or upset in any way. So,
Unfortunately, that's the way society teaches us. So
mhm,
he's the type of guy that'd rather hide his grief.
mhm,
And I just saw something recently on TV. I can't remember who it was that they said that even as a man, they cry and they don't feel embarrassed or ashamed about it, and that it's okay for men to cry. It's okay for men to feel, you know, because that feeling and those emotions are important, very important. We have to remember that God created us and created those emotions and those feelings for a reason. And when we hide that and we try to push it down, eventually, I hate to say this, but I've seen it, you can explode. And all that anger, all that pain, everything's going to come pouring out. And most men, for some reason, I'm not going to say this is about your father because I don't know your father, but they think that the only way they can hide their pain is behind drinking or drugs or some other means to numb that pain, you
mhm.
know? And it's sad that that's the way society teaches us. But that's why we coaches who've gone through grief and all the education and training that we've gone through, that we want people to know that it's okay to feel. It's okay to have your emotions. And you were also talking about the dogs. Talk more about the man with the dogs.
This is fantastic. So,
Yes.
right after my brother's death, um, I was in like a lazy boy recliner, and I was writhing. I was in pain. I didn't know what was going on. All these things were trying to come up, and I was just bawling. I was crying my head off, and I had this amazing dog at the time. His name was Darby. He was a little pit bull mix, and I finally calmed down, and he just crawls up. He just crawls up on my chest, lays across my chest, and I just had the most amazing feeling, the sensation that it was just pure love, right? It was
Yes.
just pure love. So because of that, I realized there was more. There was there was more to life. There was another way to be. There was something else to do. And that's when I really started taking a look at myself. I was like, oh yeah, I don't like that guy over there. He's not a very nice guy. So that's how this whole thing started. I started remembering the times in my life. Why I mentioned when I was 12 and suicidal. If it wasn't for my dog Sage at that time, I wouldn't be here. He would seek me out and just lean into me and push me over a little bit. Just like it's like his version of giving me a hug, and he's just like, "I got you. I got you. We're good. We're good. Let's just sit here for a while." Right? He held space for me in this amazing way. I had no clue what that was at the time, and sure, I took it and I loved it and accepted it. Now I can look back and go, "Holy hell!" Right? These amazing, and it's not just me that have these experiences. All these people. So men who have a difficult time, excuse me, with other people in their life, but they have this really deep bond with their dog. That's a relationship, right? We
Yes.
tend to do this like me, mighty human, this dog,
Yes.
but that dog is absolutely in tune with us. So
Yes.
we work with that because that dog already has a way into him, right? That dog's got the key to the guy's heart. So that's where we start. We start with, well, let's, what do you do with your dog? Tell me about, this and experiences and fun and travel. And do you guys, sleep in the same bed and, blah, 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 blah. Do you make excuses to not go with your friends because you're hanging out? You want to go hang out with your dog instead because this is uncomfortable. So, I mean, there's just a million avenues you could take to bring it right back to my dog loves me unconditionally. There's no expectations, and that feels safe and comfortable. So that's where we get in, and you can just go from there, right? So
Yeah.
many guys are like, "What? My dog? I can't believe he's." But seriously, my um,
Yeah, recently I've been watching a lot of Christian films, and a lot of them, what I love is the one about the animals. People don't realize this, but dogs do have emotions. Dogs do know grief.
yep.
Dogs knows love, and they do know when you're needing comfort. They know. They had a sense. My dog does it. I've seen plenty of other dogs do it. So, a Facebook user was asking, what recommendations do you have for grief coaching certification? Well, there's quite a few of them that you can go out there. David Kessler's doing it. The one I got my certification at is grief. I think it was called Grief Recovery. It's there in Oregon. Um, there's quite a few of them out there. Just if you would just Google it, grief coaching certifications, and you would get a whole bunch of them out. Where did you get your certifications from, Michael?
Well, I actually have none.
You don't?
Nope. Nope. But I've been a mentor and a coach and a trainer in other ways, also in many positions in my life, and I was able to move right into that without. Yeah,
Yes, there is the international. Oh, I just got it in the mail. There is certification through the International Christian.
ICF.
Um, yes, you can get your certification from there. There's quite a few of them out there. I also got my. I don't know why my voice is doing this. This is ridiculous. I also got my certification like in the mental health, also through a Christian um, university where you can get your certification. And if you will email me at unpluggedgrief.gmail.com, unpluggedgrief@gmail.com, I will see what I can do to get you the links to help you with those. But to me, I know life experience. See, it's not life experience is going to be the greatest thing that's going to teach people. But in today's society, it's almost like you have to also be certified. You know, I got quite a few of my certifications in different places. I was first a certified grief coach, and then I added life. And last year I added the mental life certification because when we're dealing with grief, a lot of people don't realize. You'd be surprised what a lot of people don't realize, but it's accurate. Mental health and grief go hand in hand,
Mhm.
but so does life. So even if I got my grief certification, I got my life, my master's life, and then my mental health to add it on top of my grief to make that salad, like that fruit salad. Where you got your strawberries and your bananas and your blueberries to make it so not only that you have that credentials, but I tell you what, it made a world of difference in helping me with my own grief because I realized I can't help anybody else unless I help myself first. And when I took all those classes and got all that training, it made a difference in my life. The mental health one, really got me to my core. Really got me to my core. But I appreciate the training I got because it helped me with my mindset. And I really like that you do that with the dogs with, and you match it up with somebody. I mean, that's really awesome to have that kind of a ministry because a lot of men you don't look at dogs as a comfort thing. They look at them as a different purpose. And if they change that mindset and look at that dog and see how loving and comforting that dog can be to him, that changes the whole thing. Because it just amazes me about dogs and cats. Cats are like this too.
Hmm?
And dogs are amazing how, I mean, you have like a small dog, got on your chest, comfort you. My dog is a little dog also. She gets on my chest, and that's her home place. That's where she knows. She knows, like when the moments when I'm crying, she knows, and she climbs onto my lap. Animals are so much more smarter, so much smarter than we give them credit for. And then, yes, they love you unconditionally. When you walk through that front door, who's the one that greets you and is so excited about seeing you coming through that door? I tell you what, it was more than what my son did. Well, the
Right.
dogs are the one that unconditional love. And they're part of your family. And when you lose them, that's grief right there too.
Hmm.
Yes, I will put my email in there. Let me do it right now.
You brought up another good point about taking care of ourselves. Um,
Yes.
there's a lot of folks out there, they're like us coaches, nurses, doctors, paramedics, policemen, animal rescue people, and advocates, veterinarians. Then, I mean, all these people who are out there trying to help others have a tendency to sometimes not take very good care of themselves along the way, right? They're big into giving and short on receiving. And I'm actually writing a new book called Rescuing the Rescuer right now that addresses this type of lack that we have in our lives, that we won't take care of ourselves, and what may lie underneath that to get to this place where we can do better. Because as you said before, if we don't take care of ourselves well, we can't help others well, right? I think
And
that's huge.
yes, and then let me tell you, as when I had to deal with the anticipatory grief before my son died, that's one of the key things that I help with the muscular dystrophy community. Is when we know that our son's disease is incurable, but we have to find a way to make them comfortable as much as possible and be there for them and encourage them. But then we forget to take care of ourselves.
Yep.
And and the thing about it is I've seen a lot of parents go through a lot of difficulty and a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety because they're so focused on taking care of their son or their child or their spouse or their parent that they forget to stop and take care of themselves. And it's just not the physical. You need to remember when you take care of yourself, even with the grief after you lose someone, you need to remember to not only take care of yourself physically, you got to think of it mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Because I've seen it with a lot of people become so angry at God. And it's really hard to explain to them that this wasn't God's doing. This is sin. Death is the result of sin. And diseases are a result of sin. And it's because of no thanks to Satan, the snake, in the Garden of Eden. And when Eve ate the apple, that's when sin began there when they disobeyed God. So it's hard to explain that bit because the grief is so hard with them, a lot of parents. But you do need to make sure you hold your faith strong. Um, and I know it's easier said than done. I know it is. Um, right now, I'm going through a minor depression, not because of the loss of my son, but we have to think of the physical part of it. My health. Right before Timothy died, I had colon cancer, and then a few years even after he died, the colon cancer came back. But I was still a caregiver, not of Timothy, but someone else. And because I'm so focused on taking care of her, like I was with Timothy, that it was very difficult to think, okay, I need to take care of myself. I need to make sure I eat right. I need to make sure I get my exercises done. I need to make sure that spiritually, all these different steps. And even then, at that time, right before Timothy died, I adopted a dog, and then she had puppies. And that made a difference in me and Timothy, the way we think. The the puppies was the thing. Because she actually had three, but two survived. And I tell you, my son, his attitude changed. He was glowing. He might have been sitting up in his wheelchair with the ventilator and all that stuff, but you can see it in his face that he was so in love with those puppies. And his nurse that was taking care of him would bring her dog, little Lenny, small Yorkie. And Lenny got another dog pregnant. So she had three more puppies, and we had all the puppies together. And I remember joking with little Lenny, okay, Lenny, where's the child support? And he just went around sniffing each one of his puppies, his sons and daughters. But my son glowed when he held on to those puppies in his arms. And even to the year before, the whole year, his attitude was different, totally different. And this boy went from being an atheist to a Christian because the mindset. And those dogs comforted him. They loved when he was laying in bed, the vent would be there and he's laying on his side, and one puppy would sleep right there on his neck. And he just loved that. Now, my son's 24, at that time was 24 years old, but still, he loved the idea that that animal was right there. And Lenny would be sleeping almost like right near his chest. And the dogs, he was changed his whole attitude. So I would say and encourage people, if you don't have a pet now, at least think of it. A little dog, a middle-sized dog, or even if you got like a large dog, they make a difference in our attitude. And I agree with you how much that unconditional love brings the comfort that we need when we're going through any kind of struggle, any kind of struggle. I'm thankful I have my dog Lizzie with me. Somebody asked me, so what kind of dog you gonna get once Lizzie is gone? And I'm like, I'm gonna wait. Because when your dog or animal passes away, you're supposed to really wait before you jump in and get another dog. But I'm thinking like a middle-sized dog. Because for some reason, my dog doesn't like playing with toys. Nor does she like eating treats. Unless it's ice cream. She'll eat ice cream, and she does love the doggy Oreo cookies. Not the chocolate one, the vanilla ones. So
Who
it's
doesn't?
just, sure, who doesn't like Oreo cookies, So
She's a smart
it's
dog.
yeah. Thank God for animals. Thank God that God gave us the animals and that God provided those animals for us. And I know some people have allergies and they can't have access to, certain animals, and that's too bad that they're missing that because of the animal allergies.
Hmm.
But animals do bring joy. They do bring comfort. They do bring unconditional love, and you know, come to think of it, even when I was going through that anticipatory grief, so not only was I taking care of Tim, I also had to take care of the dog, Candy. And then when she had her puppies, I had to take care of the puppies. So it was like everybody else was getting that love from me, but I was forgetting to love myself, you know? And the cancer didn't help and made it difficult. And I think it scared my son. I think he was afraid I was going to be gone and that he was going to be left alone, you know? And
That's
even if
scary.
I told him that I was in remission, I think he still had you know, that fear, that little fear, because mom is always there to help me with this and that and do that, and does this mean she's gonna be gone? And I think that's why the dog was so much of a comfort to him. Not only because he was dealing with his own disease and knowing that he was gonna die soon, but then he was afraid of me dying and not being there for him. And I like how you use that to help people, you know, especially
Well,
the men, because men do need that comfort and love. So, do you get your dogs from? Do you bring dogs to them, or do you encourage them to go to like an animal shelter?
so I won't typically work with a guy who doesn't already have a dog.
Right.
They don't they don't have that bond, and I don't want the dog just to be a tool that they use for a period of time and then maybe don't want
Then get
anymore.
rid of it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty important that they already have that bond established because that can become what spills over into the other relationships in their lives. So, and
Mm,
the dogs they're more than just a comfort measure. They show us what's possible, right? If that dog can love and accept me fully, why can't I love and accept myself?
exactly.
Why? And then take it from there. Why can't I love and accept this person? I don't have to hang out with them on the weekend, but I accept that that's how they are. Oh, okay. There's not that. I don't have the big angry charge like I did. That there's so much to learn from the animals and what they just naturally give us and show us. It's fascinating.
Yes. I do. You like to watch National Geography?
Hmm.
There's a document I think on Hulu, but it might be Netflix, of this family in South India, and they take in orphan baby elephants and
Yep.
they raise them and train them, and but they're temporary because they have like the national forestry or something like that would come and take the elephant and set the elephant free. And this couple was like, no, the elephant became their family. And the lady was sharing that she says, when my daughter died, I was crying and crying and crying. And the one elephant they was bringing up would come to her and actually sit next to her and use the trunk to bring her close, for that comfort. And she said, you just can't imagine what an elephant goes through when they lose one of their babies. But they know how to. They're so smart. They know how to comfort not only to each other, but if they know that you're not in danger to them, and they see you going through that struggle, and how they know to come and be there for you. And then they got another baby elephant that also lost. Somehow the parents and the babies get departed, and they raised that elephant. So now they had two, okay? And then they got married and they had the two elephants. as their witnesses. It was so cute. They painted the elephants and they decorated them and everything. But so we know dogs can be a comfort. We know elephants can be a comfort. And we also know horses also know. Horses also know because I know horses are used a lot to help people
Yeah.
and
I've got a
with
couple colleagues
disabilities.
that do equine assisted therapies and equine gestalt therapy. I mean, there's all kinds of things. There's a woman who lives just south of me. She works with horses and goats.
Yes.
Yeah.
Goats. I heard yes. I have heard that goats do it too. Yes. So all these animals that God has created for us, and we somehow don't think. I mean, I hate it when all these people think they have the money to go and kill these animals just to get the head or whatever.
Mhm.
That's not. Oh, that just makes me sick when people do that. But all these animals are very smart. They know how to comfort each other. They know how to comfort you as a human. God gave them a heart, just like they gave us. You know, I've said this many times before. I'm going to share it with you. That 7 letter for encouragement is comfort. So when we're here to comfort each other, we're also here to encourage each other, to uplift each other. And I really believe, especially the dogs, even if I believe they're saying it in their head, even if we can't hear it within their barks, um, how much they are of a comfort and encouragement. I keep telling Lizzie barks, she sees something outside the window, and then I say to myself, I really wish I knew what she was saying. When she barks, what is she really saying? Is she saying something because she sees somebody out there? And their ears, they can hear the nose, how much they can smell for. It's it's just amazing. I'm so happy. Well, Michael, thank you for sharing. That's gonna really tonight. I'm gonna really sit back and think this through because this will be that's an excellent ministry that you're doing to help other men. Um, because sometimes I feel like men are ignored, and I think that's why they try to not share that grief because they're afraid of being judged, criticized, and shamed. And I'm like,
Well, that's how we're raised. We're not supposed to express. We're not supposed to let anybody know we're hurt. Let anybody know that we're wounded or injured or vulnerable in any way. That's how most of us are raised. So um, I'm working
that's
on
what you
changing
were.
that.
Yes, exactly. That's what you were taught because that's what your parents were taught, and your
Yeah.
parents do it because that's what their parents taught.
Mhm.
So that's why, that's one of the reasons why we as grief coaches are doing a lot of grief education because that is so important to understand that the way society teaches us to grieve is not always the right way to grieve. And that's why. So are you going to be part of the Global Grief Conference this year?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm presenting on Sunday the 30th.
Okay. So all those who don't know about it, our Global Grief Conference is again, it's virtual. And we invite everybody. It's Friday, all day Saturday, and all day Sunday. There will be over 40 different coaches, life coaches, grief coaches, mental health coaches, and there will be licensed therapists and social workers there as well. And it's going to be streamed live on Facebook and YouTube, and we'll be glad to show you the link so that you can go and register um, and be part of this. And I'm sure Mike is going to have a wonderful presentation. I'm on
Mhm.
Saturday afternoon, and I'm
Okay.
teaching people how to become effective comforters.
Oh, I like that. Yay.
Yes. because we need to teach people what to properly say and do.
Mm.
Because although people have good intentions, sometimes they still say things that are inappropriate at the time of loss,
Yeah.
So I look forward to hearing you speak on
It's
Sunday.
gonna be good.
Yes,
It's
I
gonna be
look
good.
forward. This year we're doing things a little different, but we're still gonna have fun with it, and the challenge is going to be there, and I appreciate you being part of this today, and I hope that in the
Thank you.
future I can invite you back in, and hopefully you'll have something new to teach us. You
Oh,
know,
I've got a bunch.
don't
I
let me
got a
stop
lot.
you. Don't
I
let
got
me
lots of
stop you.
tricks up my sleeve.
Yeah. I thank you for being part of our podcast tonight, and
Thank you,
I
Dee.
I look forward to wanting to book you maybe for this fall. You know,
Okay, let's do it.
and maybe you can give us a good 45-minute class.
No, I'd love to.
Yes. So, and I want to thank everybody else who has joined us on Unplugged Grief Ministries podcast. We will be back next week. I'm not sure who's speaking. I don't have somebody for next week yet, but I do have people for the 2 Fridays afterwards. So we will look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to hearing from you at the Global Grief Conference. And I hope everybody else has a wonderful weekend. Stay
Yes.
safe and enjoy the sunshine. If you get the sunshine. I know here in Florida we're getting sunshine. Some of you are getting snow.
Yeah,
Well,
we just had some, and it's blowing pretty hard out there right now. I don't know if we're going to get some more tonight.
I do not envy you at all.
Mm.
Our weather here is right now in the 70s.
Yeah, no, we're in the 30s.
I'm
Messed up
scratching
my
my
hair. It just blew my hair all over.
Where are you from?
I'm north of Denver in Fort Collins.
Oh, so you're over where Tony's at.
Tony lives about 15 minutes from me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we go to lunch and hang out now and then.
That's why you're here, because of Tony. He
Yeah.
somehow pulled you in, huh?
Yep, he wrote me in.
He did really good at roping a lot of people in too.
He's a good
So,
guy.
and I'm hoping those who are interested in becoming a grief coach, I hope you come to our Global Grief Conference at the end of April, April 28th through the 30th. I will share the QR code so that you can come and register and enjoy a good weekend. And meanwhile, enjoy our fighting night. Do you have a podcast, Mike?
I used to, but I stopped doing it a while back.
Oh,
But it's still out there. It's called Dogs and Men.
oh. Do
So
you have a website?
I do. It's www.dogsandmen.com. And then the other one is www.thecpr.co.
Wow. And do you often give seminars or workshops in your area?
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I just gave one a couple weekends ago. I did a 3-hour workshop at a yoga studio. Who
Oh,
the owner is amazing, and she helps people in the community like crazy. So I donated my time and then all the proceeds from the workshop for her to continue what she's doing over there.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, when I added, not you or me, but when I put my introduction and my ending, I will make sure I'll put your website underneath your picture so that people
Okay.
can contact you if they need help in their area, or maybe you can give recommendations or suggestions for others to do it in their area as well.
Yeah.
So, well, thanks, Mike.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
you
Have
being
a
here.
great weekend, hun.
You too, and everybody else have a great weekend. Look forward to seeing everybody this weekend. I
Bye.
hope. Well, I'm going to be spring cleaning. I'm hoping I get a washer and dryer as well. So, okay, have fun. Bye
Bye.
bye.